Hey artists, today we're going to draw and paint this crab. Make sure you have a pencil, an eraser, a sharpie, watercolor paper, watercolor paints, a glass of water, paintbrushes, and a paper towel. It's important to have the correct supplies for this style of painting, especially the watercolor paper and the sharpie. Let's go ahead and get started. So first thing we're going to do is grab our pencils, and we're going to start with the crab's body. So we're going to draw kind of a C shape like this. And then we're going to connect them with another curved line like this. So you should have a shape that looks like that. Next we're going to add the two eyes. So we're going to draw two little lines and two more little lines. And then we're going to draw a circle on top and a circle on top of this one with a circle inside of each of those circles. Next we'll draw these bigger claws. We're going to go out and around like this actually. Stop that a little bit too soon there, so I'll just erase that line. And then from that one we're going to connect another one, and then from there we're going to draw kind of a pointed shape like that, and then off of that we'll draw a line up, and we're going to zigzag it. I'm going to actually stop mine more here, just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So kind of a curve, curve, and then this pointed shape, and then the jaggedy claw. Something like that. All right. Next thing, we're going to start drawing these down here. So we're going to draw, these are kind of the same as these, but long and skinny. So we do 1, 2, and then this last one we want to be pointed like that. So I drew one on that side. I'm going to kind of try to make sure that on this side it's about the same area on this side of the crab. So a line around, down, and then a pointed one. So you can see I started it kind of in line with each other. Next we're going to do the next part like that. So here, here, and then a pointed one. And again, let's go straight across the crab. The other leg, 1, 2, and a pointed one. For these I did them on the bottom line. So curve, curve, point, and curve, curve, point. Last thing we need is a smile on our crab. So I just drew a little line like that, and then about the middle, pull it over like that. All right, now that we're done sketching, we're going to grab our Sharpies and we're going to go around all of those lines. You can fix anything that you want to fix. You can make some of these outside lines a little bit thicker. You can see this line is thicker than this mouth line. It just makes it pop more off the paper. All right, we're going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll move to our next step. All right, I'm done with my Sharpie, so I'm going to go ahead and take my eraser next, and I'm going to erase all the pencil marks that I can still see. All right, next thing we're going to do is grab our paper towels and a paintbrush. I'm going to start with my bigger paintbrush here, and then we're going to start in the middle of this crab. So first thing I'm going to do is just make it all wet on the inside here. You don't want it super, super wet, just a little damp. All right, and then I'm going to grab some red paint. And I'm going to go down here at the bottom of the crab, along this bottom edge, and kind of start pulling that up with some water. You can see it looks a little bit more pink right now because there's not a lot of paint. So what you need to do is just kind of keep adding some paint until you're happy with the color of your crab. You kind of want the middle to be a little bit lighter than the rest. but not super light. You don't want it to look like a pink crab. I'm just gonna start going over all of that. And I'm gonna go on this bottom edge again. You can see if you just keep blending it up, it gets lighter and lighter and lighter as you go. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So you can kind of see there's a difference here. I put some purple on this crab here to make it a little bit darker near the bottom, but we're not going to do that until this part dries. So what we're going to do is go over all of the red parts, and then we're going to go back in with some purple. So we're going to just, I'm grabbing a smaller brush now, and we're going to do the same thing for the rest of the crab. We're going to fill in with some water, grab some of that red paint. You want this part here to be a little bit darker at these points. So I'm just going to add a little more red. And again, we're just dragging it up till we're happy. So lighter up here, darker down here. We'll go to the next section. Nope, I didn't fill in with water first. There we go. Just put some water in there. Then I'm going to go along this edge. And then we can blend it up like that. Next, we're going to do this claw here. Fill it in with some water. There's a little bit of paint still on it, and that's fine. We want it to be darker in here and at the bottom edge. Like this. All right. I'm going to use an even smaller brush for these tiny legs here. So for this one, I just wetted the whole thing and then went along this bottom edge right in here and like that, and then I just kind of blended it up. You can wipe some of your extra water off on your towel if you need to. Down the second one, and then I'm going to move to this third one. You want it darker down in here. Okay, and then for the eye, you can fill that in too. Just like that. All right, you can see I did one half of the crab completely, so I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to fast forward through that portion of the video, and then we will move on to the purple step. All right, you can see that I finished the other side of the crab. So now I'm going to take this middle-sized brush and I'm going to add a little bit of purple just near the bottom edges to make it a little bit more dark, kind of like shadowy, and also just to give it a little bit more color. This one just looks like it has a little bit more color, a little bit more fun to it. So we're just going to grab a little bit of purple and we're going to go along these bottom edges where we want it a little darker. You might need to blend a little bit. So I will add a little bit of purple here. So you don't want it like that. You want to grab a little bit of water and then just kind of blend it in like this. Not a lot of water. Tiny bit of water. I'm going to do that the whole way through, just at these darker points. If you feel like you need to go back and kind of go over a spot because it's not purple enough, you can. You could also, if you get too much purple, go in with some red, or you can make your brush wet, clean wet, and then pick up some color. So let's say I get too much purple here like this. You can just make your brush wet, pick it right up, kind of put some on your paper towel. That's why we have a paper towel handy all the time. All right, so I'm going to do this body, this crab with some purple. want it right along these edges here, especially at the bottom. And then just kind of blend it in. This is also another good reason why you need watercolor paper instead of regular paper, because if you did this on regular paper, it would just fall apart. All right, we're going to go along these edges here. Just a tiny bit of purple along here. And up in here. And we're all done with the crab. If you want to add a background to your picture, you could put him on the beach or wherever you want to put him. Maybe you could have him in front of a sandcastle like he lives there. All right, so I just went along all these bottom feet too with that purple, just along the bottom edge. Add a little bit more purple in here. And then I think I'm about done with my crab. If you enjoyed doing this art project with me, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to see when I release new videos. I would love to make art with you again soon. Most importantly, keep creating. I'll see you next time. Bye.